Hello, this is Peter Dunn recording my intermediate guide to MSI for Evil Geniuses. EG have asked me to discuss some of my thoughts about the ongoing MSI tournament, so I'll be doing a series of short videos discussing in brief some of the interesting strategic adaptations we've seen on the Rift as this tournament progresses into the Rumble and playoff stages. So let's start with C9. Cloud9 went 3-0 on the final day of MSI group stages to secure qualification into the Rumble. This run involved a very impressive win over world champions and tournament favourites Damwon Kia, and basically would have been a surprise to many viewers who witnessed their lackluster performances in the first few days of the tournament. So what changed from day 1 and day 2 until their 3-0 performance on day 6? Basically, Cloud9's mid and bot lane have been pretty consistent over the tournament so far. However, the synergy between Blabber and Fudge was noticeably off during Cloud9's first few games in Iceland, and this enabled Damwon Kia and Detonation Focus Me to snowball the game through top and jungle into convincing victories. When Cloud9 fixed some of these issues on day 6 of the tournament, the team began to look much stronger and much more coherent. So let's look at some examples. So basically, the story of Cloud9 in the early part of this tournament was poor synergy between jungle and top, and this is something that you generally we saw against Damwon when Fudge had GP into Nar, which is a winning early game matchup, and in Detonation Focus Me against Cloud9, where he had Jace into Nar. Also a winning early game matchup, but Cloud9 failed to use his early priority properly in order to be able to control the map, leading to him eventually being snowballed on, and this advantage being transferred into mid lane and then the rest of the map. So let's look at some examples of how this happened, and then we'll have a look at how Cloud9 adapted. So this is a clip from Damwon Kia against Cloud9. It's early on in the game. As you'll notice, Cloud9 have contested bot priority. Damwon have push in mid, and Fudge has push top. Now, normally in a situation like this, where you have one lane of priority and 2 lanes of contested or losing priority, it is the responsibility of the laner that has priority to secure one of the early crabs for his jungler. However, you'll notice here that rather than using this priority for his jungler, what Fudge is going to do is he's going to, instead of pushing his advantage and securing the crab, he's going to make sure that he has an early push in into cheetah recall, which results in Morgana immediately knowing that Kindred is going into bot scuttle, right? Because if Gangplank was trying to bluff that he was helping on scuttle, he would have pushed next wave. So he recalls, informing Canyon that Blabber is going to contest bot scuttle, and this makes it very, very easy for Blabber to go bot, take the scuttle off him with his mid priority, and then immediately cross map into the other side of the map whilst GP is still walking back into lane, and put Kindred in a situation where she's very, very far behind and has to spend the next few minutes catching up in the game. So let's have a quick look at this. So you see the cheetah recall here from GP. Morgana was thinking about going top, but immediately changes her mind, goes into bot. They're going to go and contest the scuttle bot. Damwon immediately contests bot, fight bot, taking him an even trade in order to stop the rotation from enemy bot lane. Canyon secures the scuttle because GP has walked back into lane, even though GP has the winning matchup. The lane has been pushed into him. And now you're going to see Morgana come straight back here and secure the scuttle. Now TP's back to lane here. He doesn't actually need to TP back into lane. But the point here is that you can see how the actions of GP lead to Kindred falling very, very far behind as he loses both scuttles in an already losing matchup for him in the jungle. Okay, situation number 1. This doesn't mean, of course, that everything is just on Fudge. So we see a similar situation later on in the game. So right now, in the first 5 minutes of the game, you saw Fudge basically use his own priority in lane in order to try to snowball himself by getting a cheetah recall, coming back to lane, rather than helping his jungler secure early scuttle. Now you're going to see a situation where Cloud9 fail to help Fudge. So right now, Wave top is stacking into GP. So GP has opportunity to move, which he's doing right now, and Cloud9 use this to secure Drake. The cost for this, of course, is that Damwon are going to have full control over the top side of the map. So right now, Cloud9 need to immediately go top, so they're in a position to come and defend Fudge from the potential dive that's going to happen to him in the next minute or so. Let's see what happens. So you see them secure Drake. And right now, it is the responsibility of Cloud9 to go and help Fudge out. Right? Instead, they're going to make a continuation play on bot rather than helping Fudge. Obviously, with mid laner recalling and jungler and support on the bottom side of the map, Khan knows that he can go and snowball this advantage, taking top. He's going to push out top, and the Damwon are immediately going to go and transfer this pressure into mid, and threaten. Having taken top tower, they're going to use Na to go and rotate from top into mid. And this is a repeated process that is going to happen for the rest of this game, blocking Perks from being able to make any kind of aggressive play and costing eventually the bot tower, the mid tower, and the top tower for Cloud9, based on the fact that they went for Drake and they made a continuation play on bot without trying to go and defend Fudge. So this led to Na being able to get a very large lead and control the game and snowball the game from there. This was also a pattern that we saw in the Detonation Focus Me versus Cloud9 matchup on day 2 of MSI. So, similar situation before. Detonation Focus Me were able to get Herald and use Herald to break top tower. Because Cloud9 were not in a position to go and help Fudge in the early game, because this was the game where Blabber flashed for Scuttle at level 3 and ended up dying. However, this didn't necessarily mean that the game had to be snowballed, but you're going to see a similar situation here, where here rather than instead of the Damwon game where Na was able to get priority and then transfer the pressure into mid, you're going to see here Fudge freezing the wave. What this means is that Na ends up farming some jungle camps, but rather than going top to try to go and contest the freeze, he's going to immediately transfer his pressure into mid. And obviously Perks wants to play very, very aggressive to try to punish enemy mid laner, but is going to end up being caught out here, going to lose his flash, and it's going to make it very hard for him to punish for the rest of this laning phase. So pay attention to Na. Na notices that there's a freeze going top. He decides he's not going to come and contest the freeze. And right now, again, Blabber is on the bottom side of the map. Evie has full ability to go into the enemy jungle, like Khan against Damwon Kia. He's going to come mid, and he's going to come and gank Perks. Perks doesn't die, although he's pretty lucky not to die, but he is going to lose his flash, and that's going to make it very, very hard for him to contest anything for the remainder of the laning phase, and this allows Detonation Focus Me to jump to a pretty large early lead. Similar situation to the Damwon Kia game. Fudge gets behind because Blabber isn't in a position to protect him early. He uses his priority for selfish reasons. That doesn't mean, of course, that you can't play selfishly, but the fact that he is playing purely for his own lane instead of transferring his pressure in a winning matchup means that Cloud9 lack pressure on the rest of the map, and it means that Fudge's opponent is able to impact the rest of the map through jungle and through mid. So what changed going into day 6? Well, first things first, Cloud9 did not allow Fudge to be attacked in the early game. It helped that Blabber was having stronger early games, but there were situations where Fudge was being attacked, where on the first 2 days of the tournament, he wouldn't be getting support, but now Cloud9 were responding immediately with aggressive counterplay whenever they had the opportunity. So here we have an example of Cloud9 versus Detonation Focus Me. You see Detonation Focus Me Wave is pushing back into detonation focus, into Evi. Enemy jungle is here. Enemy mid laner is pathing towards top to come and gank Fudge off the bounce. But look at the positioning now of Blabber versus where he was in the early detonation focus mid game, where he was on the bottom side of the map when this situation was happening. Right now, he's on the top side to come and protect the dive. And as soon as this play begins, Perkz is immediately going to TP top, and they're going to come and contest the 3v3. This is completely different to what was happening in the earlier part of the tournament. So Blabber thought that he was safe to leave and to go and push because the wave had already been pushed in. But once the cheese gank came in, he's immediately in a position to path to top, and Perkz TPs pretty much immediately as soon as the gank happens. This leads to Cloud9 getting key kills and being able to stay in the game and eventually outscale with their Morgana Yone composition. You see the same sort of thing happening in Cloud9 versus Damwon Kia, the second game against Damwon Kia, which Cloud9 were also able to win. Early on in the game, in the first game of the series, Cloud9 were basically leaving Fudge on an island, but on the first opportunity they had to gank early on in this game at 4:45, Blabber is immediately top. He doesn't leave Fudge out to dry. He doesn't force. Here, normally in a situation like this where you're low on resources as Fudge, you would have to recall and TP back to lane to be able to lane as Lee Sin into Jace. But the first opportunity Blabber has to come top, he's pathing top immediately. No more pathing bot, no more looking for Drake plays with bot prior, no more going for 5 minute dragons. Blabber's top immediately. He goes in ganks. Fudge is able to have a free laning phase as a result because they blow Khan's flash. So Jace, as a low mobility champion, is going to now struggle to punish. Lee Sin doesn't care that his flash is gone because he has so much mobility. They're able to push out the wave. Well, sorry, not push out the wave. They're able to secure the wave because now Lee Sin is going to TP back. And as a result, Fudge stays in this game and is able to use his advantage later to control the map himself, leading, of course, to this solo kill on Khan later on in the game, where the result of this early game can be seen here. He has 2 clear kills and plates as well. So, will Cloud9 be able to continue their strong performances going into the Rumble? In short, a lot of this will come down to how they play around top lane and how they play around top lane wave. In the early part of this tournament, Cloud9 were not able to do it properly, as demonstrated in the examples I showed before, either because Fudge was being too selfish on his wave and not transferring his pressure properly for jungle, or because jungle was never in a position to help him when his wave was in a bad situation, leading to enemy top laner being able to first snowball his jungle, and then enemy jungle being able to snowball against Fudge. There are some very strong jungle top lane pairings coming in the Rumble stage of the tournament. Both Mad Lions and RNG have very strong top jungle synergy, and if Cloud9 want to compete with the best at this tournament, make playoffs, and be able to proceed further into this tournament, they're going to have to continue to see more of the play in top jungle that we saw on day 6 and less of the play that we saw on day 1 and 2. The signs look promising, and definitely against PSG and Pentanet, the enemy tops shouldn't be able to snowball and transfer their pressure on the map as aggressively as Detonation Focus Me and Damwon Kia were able to do into this group. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic for Cloud9 moving forwards, but the real test will come in the Rumble, especially in the first game against Mad Lions, which you'll be able to see in 24 to 48 hours from when this video is published. Okay, hope you enjoyed my first intermediate guide to MSI video, and hopefully we'll be filming some more of these as the tournament progresses. Thank you, and have a good day.